Hey folks, Josh Nelson here, Beaver River Associates, Paulet, Vermont. It is April 2nd, 2010, just for the archives there. And I've been in the worm business for 20 years. It's hard to believe. And I have 10 minutes to get you all the information we can on this clip, so here it goes. This is actually a banner we made when we were still in Rhode Island, when we used to raise lots of worms. And due to various activities and demand and people wanting to do it, we're going to start doing it again. And the primary reason everybody wants to do worm composting, or not everybody, but we're slowly educating them, is that one should not be putting their organic residuals from the house into your garbage for a couple of reasons. One, you don't want it in a landfill. It converts and trips into methane gas. Two, it makes your bags stinky, so if you keep it out of your trash, it keeps, all the other materials cleaner. You don't have to go to the transfer station as frequently, and ultimately that saves you a lot of time and money. So, where maybe you're getting stuff picked up once every couple days, by getting all the putrescible things out of there that could, become odor generating, life becomes a lot easier. But most importantly, it's a valuable resource and you should really be recycling it. And whether you live in an apartment, a condo, on a boat, in a house, in the north and the south, or have an outdoor composter or not, you can do worm composting indoors all year round, or if you're in a climate where you like to do it during the warmer months and you've got an outdoor composter, you can take those worms and you can put them in your outdoor unit, and as long as you're feeding them and keeping an eye on the moisture, they will do great. They will winter over if they've got access to open ground, and it's really quite easy. There are hundreds of varieties of worms in the world, and there are really only two primary types that you want to use for composting, and the one that we use is known as Eisenia fetida, and it's what's referred to as a red worm, and they've evolved over millions of years to be very temperature tolerant. They live at the surface of the soil. For example, last week it was damn near snowing here, and today it's in the 80s, so they can adjust to these temperature swings and do extremely well. Many, many years ago, when we were still in Rhode Island, we developed a kit to make it very easy, safe, and cost-effective for people to do worm composting. And it's a kit that we now have available either in bulk for communities, clubs, and various groups, or if you're a retailer and you're possibly looking for a great product that doesn't take up a lot of shelf space, this is it. And we call it Got Worms because, you really need to have worms. But in these kits are basically the bells and whistles of a high-performing worm bin. What you really need when you're doing worm composting is you need to have good aeration and drainage on the bottom of your bin. You need to have good aeration on the top. And it's really very simple. You need two very basic drill bits, one being a 5/8 inch drill bit and the other being a 2-inch circle bit, and these are readily available at every store. And if you're a group and you're buying a large quantity of these insert kits from us, we send you the bits for free, so you don't even have to do it. And you can use them with either a plug-in or a cordless drill. It's very, very simple. Also, another thing just want to mention quickly is there's very simple, easy to follow instructions here. There are also images at our website, and it's really not hard. We also provide worm sourcing information, so depending where you live in the country, you can source worms very easily. But when you're making a worm bin out of a tote with these units, it's really very quick and easy. And I'm going to show you. What you basically need is an 18 to 20 gallon tote. There are numerous varieties of models available on the market, and since we have the circle bit in for the vents first, I'm just going to pop these holes in. But basically you're just going to drill two holes. You're going to put these screened little louver vents in there, and then you are going to have a lid. These have little tabs on the back that are aluminum, and they just fold right over. then we need to change the drill bit very quickly and make a hole at the very end of this so that we can put in a drain fitting that allows you to get the worm tea out of there, which is really excellent. You can use it for feeding your household plants during the winter time, and you want to dilute it. Make sure you dilute it. Worms generate a growth promoter. It's called auxin, and you don't want to use worm tea straight. It's too powerful. But about a ½ inch off the bottom of your bin, using a 5/8 inch paddle bit, you basically just want to drill a hole right here. And then what you do to put these drain units in, these are a nylon bulkhead fitting, and all you need to do is pop it right through here, screw it in, and you just have to screw it all the way in. It's a pretty tight fitting, and then you've got your drain fitting in there. And then, even though I don't have it, what you would do is put about an inch of stone right in the very bottom of your bin. And then what you're going to do is take this mesh group right here, put it into the bottom of the bin over the stones, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of landscape filter fabric that comes with the kits, and you're going to place it over the stones in the mesh, and that gives you a really excellent drain field area so you can get things out. So now what you would do is you would basically place your bedding in here and put your worms in, and worms can basically eat about half their body weight a day in organic material, and a worm bin won't smell as long as you don't overload it. What actually is happening in a worm bin is that the bacteria are breaking down the food waste that's in there, and the worms are then feeding on the bacteria, and that's why you don't get noxious odors. So if you start with, for example, 2 pounds of worms in a worm bin, once the worms get acclimated and built up, you can be putting in about 1 pound of food waste a day. You know, coffee grinds, anything except for fatty and oily and meaty materials. But all your tea bags, coffee grinds, coffee filters, trimmings from, you know, what you're doing as far as salad and vegetable prep. So it really, it's really a great way to do it. But then ultimately what you have left over is, besides all the environmental and cost savings, is you've got literally the world's best plant food. Most people refer to it as black gold. And you know, I was at the Vermont Composting Association meetings yesterday, and it's not long before we have, you know, more stringent regulations as far as diverting organics. There's a lot of reasons to be doing it, dealing with the environment, global warming, carbon footprints, but we don't have a lot of time to discuss that right now, so we're not going to do it. But, you know, the volumes of organics going into landfills around the United States, around the world, is still extremely high, and people need to be a little more conscientious about what they're doing. Worm bins, if you have kids, are a great way to introduce them to life cycles. Same thing for using them in classrooms with teachers. And it's a very small, cost-effective thing that you can do that really makes a big difference for the planet and at the household level. And worms will double in population every approximately 3 months. So if you start with 2 pounds of worms, in about 3 to 4 months, you're going to have 4 pounds of worms. And as you build up those worm population numbers, you're going to be able to either put more into your bin, or even start a second bin, or maybe start a bin and give it to a friend as a present. And it's just a simple, cost-effective way that we can all help to do something green for the planet. And thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please visit us at our website, send us an email, or pick up the phone. We love to help people out. Thanks very much.